Hey everyone, it's James Lambert, the motivational coach and speaker. I went from knockouts to knowledge, and from headlocks to hugs. I still embrace people, just now in a more positive way. So in this video, I wanted to share a beautiful passage from an incredible book I'm actually rereading. This is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read it yet, I really encourage you to pick it up. It's an astounding read. And even if you have, like myself, go back and revisit it, because at this point in your life, as you grow and develop in yourself, you garner new insight from a book. I know I have. And it's just the most inspirational book and reminds me of the absolute unstoppable nature we really do have as a species, the human species. Remarkably resilient, resourceful, and just powerful. And man's capacity to love under the most extreme adversity is just, it gives me great hope. I'd like to share this passage, if I may. It really struck me. This is on page 66 of the book. And it's entitled, it's the story Death in Tehran. A rich and mighty Persian once walked in his garden with one of his servants. The servant cried that he had just encountered death, who had threatened him. He begged his master to give him his fastest horse so that he could make haste and flee to Tehran, which he could reach that same evening. The master consented, and the servant galloped off on the horse. On returning to his house, the master himself met Death and questioned him. "Why did you terrify and threaten my servant?" "I did not threaten him. I only showed surprise in still finding him here when I planned to meet him tonight in Tehran," said Death. Incredible. That's in Viktor Frankl's powerful Man's Search for Meaning. And I hope you will draw your own conclusions from that passage. But my goodness, it spoke to me about the futility at times of avoiding what some may say one's destiny. I happen to believe currently that because of the power of choice and free will, our futures are not predestined. It's almost like there's a sea of potentiality, and based on our choices, of which we have our sole control over, various destinies become more likely. Why? Based on the choices you make today. But it's still, nevertheless, it invited that sort of futility about certain things or people, places, situations that are going to cross your path inevitably. For instance, there's a quote I remember reading somewhere, and it was like, what you resist persists. So speaking in my own life, anger. And I could pretend at times it wasn't there, it wasn't a problem. I knew it was. And until I actually faced it head on and dealt with it, situations and people and places kept on creeping up in my life, seemingly by coincidence, but not at all, by design, to test if I had. So many of you, I want you to get encouraged. If you have said, right, I'm going to get a hold on my gambling or drinking or drug taking or whatever it is, and yet no sooner have you made a decision, you see it everywhere. That's because life is putting you to a certain degree. It's testing your resolve. Are you truthful in that decision? So if you say, for example, I'm going to knock drinking on the head, or certainly curtail and curb my drinking, you may notice that, lo and behold, the phone keeps going and people want to invite you out more and more. Hey, Dave or Jenny, do you want to come out for a drink? Are you serious about the decision you've made? So what I'm saying is there will inevitably be situations and places you cannot avoid, like the man that rode off Tehran to avoid death, only that death was going to be waiting for him there. So what do you think, just be honest in your own life, what are you trying to avoid that will inevitably catch up with you later? It could be choices, food choices that you're making. in the quiet. People do it in secret, but it will catch up. So what you're eating behind closed doors, it will eventually show up in heightened blood pressure, diabetes and the like. So just think about that. What you might be trying to avoid that will inevitably show up in your life anyway. I'm saying and giving you bold encouragement, face it head on. This is the way to get things done. This is the way to have breakthroughs in your life. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do like it if you have. Comment, I love to hear from you. Share, spread the love, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As always, you are unstoppable, and I believe in you.